Hi, I can relate so much to your readings for the last two videos, latest, and if it's destined, it will be. The king was my man, a Pisces. I was the queen of wands. He is in a commitment right now, but he doesn't have feelings with the current woman he's with now. It was exactly like you described in the video. Their situation was exactly that, but at the same time, he still didn't act on it, to which I don't understand why. Since we didn't actually verbally say how deep our feelings to each other are, but from all the time we've spent together. I just hope he got the gist of what I'm feeling. And I know he feels the same for me as well. Anyways, thank you so much for reading this, and I love all your readings. Nana.
All right, we are on episode 8 of Share Your Story. So I've been slowly trying to get to the stories that you guys have generously shared with me here. And I'm hoping that this will still be helpful and resonate, even if time has passed. For story 8, we are going to read a little bit from this person, then look into the energies and answer one question that they have asked. So we will begin. Hi, I can relate so much to your readings for the last two videos. Latest, and if it's destined, it will be. The king was my man, a Pisces. I was the queen of wands. He is in a commitment right now, but he doesn't have feelings with the current woman he's with now. It was exactly like you described in the video. Their situation was exactly that, but at the same time, he just still didn't act on it, to which I don't understand why, since we didn't actually verbally say how deep our feelings to each other are. But from all the time we've spent together, I just hope he got the gist of what I'm feeling, and I know he feels the same for me as well. Anyway, thank you so much for reading this, and I love all your readings. Nana. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Nana. And I know that this is a long time coming. I guess the readings that you're mentioning is from last year, I think. Um, it is the King series that I believe you are resonating with. So you're dealing with a Pisces and you are a Queen of Wands. They are in a commitment, but you and this king have, well, to you, it seems like it's obvious to you that you shared feelings, right? So there's an expectation on your part that they understand how you feel. Now, the question, let me see what question you have asked. Okay, here you say here, I'm really wondering if we're going to end up together legally in the future. From the King POV, please. Okay, very clear, concise question. All right. So your question is, are you going to end up together legally in the future from this king's perspective? And I know this is about almost a year from when you asked this, right? So we will be looking at what the current energy is for this king and if there's potential. Now, I can't promise I'll get this king's perspective. It really does depend on what I'm allowed to read for you here. But my intention is to get their perspective and to see if there's any potential of you being together legally in the future. So let's go ahead and see. Okay. Okay. I am not surprised that the Queen of Swords energy shows up. And like I said, I cannot promise to get this king's perspective for you here. I can try. I'm getting your energy. Full on clear on your energy. And I think the reason why is you show up as a Nine of Pentacles. That tells me that in this year's time, you have really strengthened yourself, right? I need to clarify the cards to really be sure, but with this Queen of Swords, Nine of Pentacles energy, you're showing me that you have grown probably tremendously from this. Um, that probably you are not as either heartbroken or challenged by this situation as you once were. Okay. Um, let's clarify. I'm a little bothered. My camera's angled here, so let me try to fix that. Okay. Okay, let's see this Nine of Pentacles energy. Oh my. Definitely your energy showing up here. Um, Looks like you've been on quite a journey since you asked this question. You have been on quite a journey, I'm gonna say. Uh, One more card for this Three of Swords in reverse. I think we need to clarify that Three of Swords. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what? So I know this is the question that you have. And I actually am still going to kind of dig into that a little bit more later. But for now, I'm going to read what's in front of me. Okay. Nine of Pentacles, Six of Cups, Eight of Cups, Five of Wands. You know what? You're really showing me this was such a difficult thing to get over. You're showing me that it took so much strength, so much, just so much to get to where you are now. This was very hard. I think you really felt like this was your person. This king was your person, your soulmates. And maybe you might even still think that, honestly, because the Six of Cups is still in the upright. However, I can see that you really had to like force yourself to walk away from this. I think because at the end of the day, you chose yourself. You chose maybe your peace of mind, or you chose your sanity or something. That's what I'm seeing for the first card. Okay, the number nine could be significant. Um, that Five of Wands, right? This is that Five of Wands, and it's in reverse now. And Queen of Cups, you could be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces as well. So what I'm seeing here is that you really had to forcefully kind of push this away. I think also you just had to accept defeat. You stopped taking action towards this. You kind of emotionally detached from it, right? And I feel like you had no choice. Like this was what you needed to do in order to survive, I'm hearing. So a lot has happened for you in the time that, you know, in the time since you asked this question. Three of Swords in reverse came out twice, though. That's why I clarified it. So with the Three of Swords, with the Devil in reverse, and the Two of Cups in reverse, that tells me this really broke your heart. I think you were hoping that you and this king would end up together, that you would share life together, have that future. Like you said, that you would end up together legally, meaning maybe even a marriage, right? But I think you were so devastatingly disappointed. I don't think your person returned either. I don't want to say the love because I can't say now, but I don't think they reciprocated the way they should have. And I think that really tore you apart. I think that really destroyed you, honestly. This energy is just, it's that kind of energy where you're lying on the floor, crying and feeling like your whole body is going to explode, and every part of inside your body just hurts from pain. Like that's what I'm getting here. So I say that's why this was really difficult for you. And you're showing me though that you got past this, that this is what had to happen to be where you are now. Now this Three of Swords, right? It was this king. They could have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. Um, so you both are water signs, you both are air signs in some shape, way, or form. And I think this king's silence, or this king's inability to speak their truth, or I don't know, to decide something, that really hurt you. It feels like a deep betrayal, and it really cost you too. And I think you had no choice. It's like it's like having to survive and having to choose yourself in a situation where, you know, you had to sacrifice something. And I feel like that's what happened here. Okay. So my intention was to ask if there's any potential of being together legally, and in the current energy, I don't see that, only because where you are now. Okay. However, now that we understand what your current energy probably is, right? I'm going to, just out of curiosity, I guess, and I don't think this is going to be detrimental to any kind of progress you've made. I will check on this king's current energy and then the potential of this connection, or whatever this connection's energy will be, and we will take it from there. First, I want to see this king's energy. Okay, what is this king's energy? Wow. King's energy. Man, I would say you definitely resonate with the King series. I do feel that you may not, I feel you may not even really keep tabs on the series anymore, just because of what you're showing me here. Although if you do, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like you've moved beyond it, and maybe again to save your sanity, right? Um, so okay, you know, your person, they did not take the risk. They did not take the chance. That's why your connection did not happen. They could not. It was either the circumstance, or they just didn't have it in them. I kind of feel like they didn't have it in them, because as a King of Wands in reverse, that is not an energy of um, confidence. It's not an energy of determination. And Queen of Swords in reverse, I feel you had expectations from this person they could not meet. They just couldn't do it. And I think the challenge that you had, which is probably the whole third party situation, was not something that could be conquered. I feel like this king didn't take the action that they should have taken. And, now that you're in a good place, I would want to say that they just didn't have it in them, but maybe they didn't desire it enough to do something about it. And I think that's what really destroyed you too, right? I think this person, it's not like they didn't consider it. That's one thing I want to say. It's not like they didn't consider it. It's not like they didn't think about it. It's not like they didn't even maybe try in some way. Because the Six of Cups tells me, and your Six of Cups is upright, you guys had a soulmate connection. You had a strong connection with this person. You both felt it. Okay. However, it doesn't mean that you feel something that you're equipped to take action towards it. And I think that's what happened with your person here. They just were not capable or able to fight for you, or to choose you. I think the idea of having to maybe leave the commitment was something that they could not bear. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean that they are still emotionally invested in that. But in any case, the fact that they could not separate themselves from that commitment means that that's where they need to be, or that's where they even want to be. And that's a choice. Okay. You mentioned, like, what did you say here? You mentioned the current, he's in a commitment, and the current woman that he's with now, you're describing it as that he doesn't, you know, no, what you said was they're in a commitment and he doesn't have feelings with that woman. I mean, what is your assurance that there wasn't feelings there? They told you? I'm not knocking, people that find themselves in third party situations. I am not one to talk, okay? However, you have to be careful of a person that can find it in themselves to say things that would be negative, right, against whoever they're with, to make you feel a certain way, because that kind of person can do that exactly to you with someone else. Okay. It's not a great quality to have someone talking about a person they're committed to and say that they don't have feelings for that person, and then they're trying to get with you, right? from the progress I see in your energy, I feel like you had that realization. You also came to that same conclusion. Um, in any case, even if they didn't have feelings with that person, that's still what they chose. They can't see themselves leaving that connection, commitment. Um, and honestly, I don't even know if that commitment is still, here, if it's still present. But at the time that you needed this person to step up for you, they could not do it because of that commitment. Okay. So that's what I'm really seeing here. Now, I kind of want to check in. What, if any, potential is there for this connection between you and this king? Okay. If any, right? Again, showing up as a King of Swords in reverse. Wow. Oh, man. This person still thinks about you. This person probably still has feelings for you. Oh, man. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, yeah, potentially. Feelings still there. Maybe they really just couldn't keep a promise or meet your expectation or speak their truth, whatever version of that, is happening for this king. I think they feel that you guys are not emotionally invested in them. Like they can sense it in their energy. And if you did have a connection like this with them, that's not a far off idea that they would sense that. But I think they still love you, I would say, but it doesn't mean that they can take action towards you. And that's exactly what happened here. So even if they had feelings, they could not move forward with you. Even if they did reciprocate, your feelings, they didn't move in your direction. They did not even try. They did what they had to do in their life, and it did cost them, because you can see now that, they do love you, but they kind of sacrificed your connection for what they needed to choose, wanted to choose. Obviously, they're in a commitment, and if I'm going to be honest, and I think you will probably agree, that was the right choice. They needed to choose that. That's what they should choose, right? But I'm telling you, they thought about it. It's not like they didn't care. They really did think about it, but at the end of the day, they decided, I can't, even if I want to, I can't. Okay. So they did miss out on a big opportunity here with you, because I do feel you and this person do. If under the right circumstances, the love that you guys have for each other would be pretty powerful, I would say. If this wasn't a third party situation, if it was just based on your connection and the way that you feel for each other or felt for each other, this was quite the powerful connection. However, that's not where we are at. Realistically and practically speaking, that's not how it turned out to be. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing. Um, Now I kind of just want to go into some tarot card guidance here for you. You are a Queen of Swords. You don't expect this person to come back, to be honest. You don't have that same expectation, that same hope. You're actually quite logical now. You understand now what has happened, where you're at. Um, I think you also understand that what this king would have had to do to be in a connection with you. And at the time, it was probably romanticized, the whole idea of it, right? But now I can see that you can look at it and understand, yeah, that wouldn't have been great if they had pursued you. Tower. And you don't know what would have happened with that, right? I think you've had time to think, and definitely, if it's been a year since this question was asked, you've had a lot of time to think, and I think you don't feel the same way. Not that you don't carry feelings, but I think you don't. You've definitely kind of made it clear to yourself what this connection actually is, how you feel about it, but what the reality of the potential is. And so I can see that you've done the introspection. You know that it was probably never meant to be, but also at the same time, it's probably best that that's how it happened. Wow, I gotta cover that up. Yeah, this connection definitely ended because somebody could not step up for the connection. I think because that's what it would have had to happen if you wanted this to be a legal thing. They would have had to separate from the person they're with. Now, I don't know if it's a marriage. I'm assuming it is with the whole legal part of it, but I feel like marriage or not, this person would have had to really sort things out in order to be free to be with you, to set up a life with you, and to have a future and everything. And they did not do that, right? And you went through so much. I think sometimes you still look back on the journey that you've had with this, and I think you're proud of yourself, which I would be proud for you too. And at the same time, I think you look at it and think, what did I do? So that's kind of what I'm getting for you. But you know what? Your future is going to be of great potential because a fresh start, a new beginning, maybe even in love. You're closing out this chapter, I'm going to say, much stronger, much stronger. And maybe also not romanticizing this person, this king anymore, the way that you did. I think you see their flaws now. I think you can see their weaknesses. And I think you know that you deserve better. You deserve better. And I would say be confident in whatever you decide to do next. Whatever you do decide to do next in your life, you know what you're doing. You have a very strong sense of intelligence and knowing, right? Coming from the experience of going through this, it's like you're so much smarter now because of this situation. And I think you know what to do now. And I think you can also decipher the romanticizing and the passion with reality and what actually can be. So I'm hearing, will you find someone? That potential is very strong for you, I would say, because you know what you want now. You want a partnership, you want a commitment, and you know the kind of person that you want to be with. But if I'm going to be honest, it might take a little more time for that to come in for you. And if it's only been a year, then that makes sense too. You're still strengthening yourself and you are still closing out this chapter. You're still kind of resolving certain things, I think, within yourself about this. And so maybe you're not fully ready to dive into a new partnership, but when the time is right, that's gonna show up for you. Wow. I just want to remind you, imagine a year ago when you asked this question. Imagine how stuck on this you were. Imagine how much it took from you. Imagine the stress, the anxiety, the heartbreak, the heartache, the heaviness. Imagine all the tears. Imagine all of that, and you are free from that now. You are free from that now. I do want to say don't expect that you will be disappointed or experience heartbreak in the future. Can it happen? Definitely. Yes, of course it can. But should you expect that? That would kind of be unfair, right? Like that wouldn't be a fair thing um to assume. There we go. Sorry about that. That kind of looked kind of blurry there. Um what's happening? I'm sorry guys. The picture looks terrible. Sorry about that. Um I'll close this out by saying that, oh man, I will close this out with these two cards last. You know what I want to say? The love is going to come your way. The right partnership is going to come your way. And that happiness is going to come your way when you decide to finally commit. And when that happens for you, it will probably be the one. It'll be the one that you want to have a future with, the one that you imagine can commit. And I see so much potential in that for you. So I hope, let me just, I hope that helped. And again, I apologize if this took some time to get to you. What is wrong with my camera? I apologize if this took time to get to you, but I hope this was helpful. And Thank you for sharing your story.